Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, Kim Davis. That name sound familiar? She was the former Kentucky county clerk in 2015 who refused to issue same-sex marriage licenses despite the Supreme Court telling her that she needed to do so. And she refused, and she was arrested and put in jail for 5 days for violating, basically as a result of her actions in being in contempt of court. She was sued by the two men. What are the names here? David Moore and David Ermold. And they recently won their lawsuit, and they were awarded $100,000 in damages. In addition to that, because they won their suit, they also get to be compensated for their lawyer fees. This is now the attorneys for Miss Davis are arguing that the attorneys billed hours that were excessive and the rates were too high, but the judge ruled, nope, everything looks fine. So now her lawyers are going to appeal the verdict, saying there's insufficient evidence, and they're going to go to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. Actually, they're going to ask the judge to overturn it. Then if that doesn't happen, then we go to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. So I want to find out what's the energy around this case. Entertainment purposes only. Kim Davis losing that case, $100,000. The moon card. You know, she was embraced by right-wing stuff in MAGA. Honestly, entertainment purposes only. Some people are just howling mad cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She had no right to do what she did. She was given multiple chances to undo it, and she just decided that her opinions were more important than the law. And, well, you pay the price for that. Welcome to the wonderful world of Find Out. You can not issue a marriage license, and you don't have to do what the Supreme Court tells you to do. And you don't have to do what the district courts tells you to do. But if you don't do that, there's consequences, like jail and fines and stuff like that. Yeah, this is her. You know, she was going to be a woman of action. She was going to follow her religious beliefs, and she was going to do what she wanted to do, not what other people told her to do. But now she's in the find out stage. In the past, Four of Cups, she didn't like what she was being told to do, and she refused to do it. She was given multiple opportunities to do the right thing. She chose not to. You now bear the consequences of that. Current situation, Two of Wands. Consequences have arrived. You now know what the consequences are, and now you're planning your next move, which is to try and get this case thrown out after the fact and then appeal. She thinks she's got a good chance, or her lawyers certainly think she has a good chance of getting one of these two things happen, either getting it tossed out or winning on appeal with the appellate court. The lesson to be learned is, sometimes I think the lesson here is, sometimes your decisions are going to cost you money, and maybe sometimes it's better to cut your losses. Either negotiate a settlement or cut your losses. Because if you go to the mat on stuff, it's going to get more and more expensive. Now, she's being represented by some religious charity group that's paying for the lawyers on this one. So, this is just some group trying to advance their religious agenda. But it's going to cost them more money. But I guess from their point of view, it keeps the story in the newspapers and keeps their agenda alive, which probably gets memberships up and stuff like that. The outcome, it's going to go to the Court of Appeals. And they might try and work out a settlement with the court. But it's going to be, it absolutely is going to go to the appellate court. They're going to fight this thing all the way through. All right, that doesn't tell me what the result is. Maybe the result's not there, but we can ask. Assuming that this case doesn't get overturned, and assuming that it goes to the Court of Appeals, what will happen at the Court of Appeals? Is this one of those really conservative court of appeals that's going to uphold it or deny, basically toss the case out and agree with the defendant? Or is this a court of appeals that's going to agree with the judge's ruling on this case? It's sad that you look at stuff like this and it becomes political, or you can't get the political part out of it. I mean, the court, unless there's some legal technicality, there's always that, right? But if you just look on the merits of what happened, pay your damages. You've effed around, you find out. But the courts have been stacked with partisan hacks. Entertainment purposes only. What's going to happen with the Court of Appeals? It's going to be nightmarish. Headaches, stress. The Court of Appeals might be stressing out over this. I think it's a strong case that's being brought in. All these swords, 3 of swords. It's a betrayal. The Court of Appeals might be disappointing somebody here. Obviously, both sides. Somebody's going to be happy. Somebody's going to be disappointed. But you got a betrayal that's going on in here. Look at all these swords. Queen of Swords. The 9 of Coins. Pair of 9s. You've got... it's a nightmare situation. I'm just gonna translate. I wasn't sure if this is the Kim Davis card or if this is the plaintiffs. My initial reaction was say this is Kim Davis and having to pay the money. I was gonna say this is called the plaintiffs, but I think this is Kim Davis having to pay the money and the stress that this is causing. There's an absolute betrayal here. There's a strong case that is made, and people have to be, ruled by the law. I think in the end of the day, if this case is overturned, it's overturned on a legal technicality, which gives them the opportunity to redo the case. It could also be that if this is a very conservative Court of Appeals, they can't do what they want to do because the case is too strong against them. So now I need to look up the 6th Court of Appeals and see if this is a conservative, liberal, or nonpartisan court. Hang on for a second. All right, let's bring it on back here. Okay, I think I've got my answer. This 3 of Swords, there are 3 judges that will be... The 6th Circuit Court of Appeals has a number of judges, but 3 will be selected for this case. Hopefully, and again, with all these swords here, it might be stressful as to really who gets assigned to this case, conservative or liberal justices. But I do think in the end of the day that the law is what the law is. And even though their personal beliefs might want to supersede what's happening here, Supreme Court's ruled, the judges ruled the attorney fees are reasonable. I think they're going to rule that, yep, those are reasonable. I don't think this case is going to get tossed out on appeal. And I think that if they're going to argue the dollars and cents, that's going to be kept on as well. There's always a chance it could get tossed out on appeal. If it is, it's going to be on some legal technicality, and the 2 men have the ability to refile. But I think that assuming that they have a case, and I think they do, they'll win it again if they refile it. Assuming that the technicality isn't so bad that it kills the case. And if it was, it would have been brought up in the first case. So I think all you're going to do is delay the inevitable on this. Okay? So I think she's hosed on this one, and she deserves to be, because you don't get to do stuff like that. All right. Anything else? We'll keep it short. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for all your likes and shares and everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so my video makes it out to a wider audience. To new viewers to the channel, welcome. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.